My next guest says instead of comparing President Obama with Governor Romney, it's more revealing to compare Obama with Obama, contrasting the president's record versus his rhetoric, starting with his pledge to create more transparency in government. Joining us tonight, Thomas Sowell, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution, and author of the recent essay, Trickle-Down Theory and Tax Cuts for the Rich, and syndicated columnist. Great to have you with us, Thomas. Let's start with, and I love the idea of Obama v. Obama, because as you put it, I mean, the idea that transparency, he was going to open this government up, and something quite different's happened, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the classic is the Obamacare, which far from being presented to the public for several days on the internet, as he said he would do, was rushed through Congress so fast, even the congressmen admitted they hadn't had time to read it. They just passed it and let it go. So it's one of many great contrasts between what he said he was going to do and what he actually did.
And now there is, at least in the offing, the prospect of a Obama v. Obama, should he win a second term. How reliable is this man in doing what he says he's going to do, in your judgment?
I think you'd have a better batting average if you took the opposite of what he said as what he was going to do. What's scary is if he is reelected, he will probably have at least one and probably a couple of Supreme Court nominations to make. And as he has said in his off-the-record comments to the Russian President Medvedev, you know, he will no longer have to face the voters again. And so considering how willful he's been thus far, can you imagine if he doesn't have to care what the voters say anymore? He can do all kinds of things, and I know of no way to stop him short of impeachment or a military coup.
You know, as you've written, the idea that this man, who seemed in some respects to embrace every facet of American government and our constitutional republic, suddenly is ruling by fiat with almost no comment from the national liberal media. It is stunning, and there seems to be little reaction amongst the electorate.
I know. It's I can't think of any president in my lifetime, with the possible exception of Franklin D. Roosevelt early on, who could do almost anything and there'd be no complaints about it. But even FDR, you know, by the 1940s, was getting a lot of heat from a lot of sources. But this man seems to he's Teflon.
Teflon, and you have written that also that Governor Romney needs to understand very clearly that he's got to attack the central charge of the Obama campaign, and that is he's all about the rich at the expense of the poor, he being Romney. How should he respond to that charge?
First of all, people should stop believing that when you raise tax rates on anybody, rich or poor, that means you're going to get more tax revenue. There have been many cases, one in 1997 when they cut the capital gains tax, for example, and the amount of capital gains revenue that they received in the next 4 years went up from what the projections were for under the old rate to almost twice what the projections had been under the old rate. I mean, people do not automatically pay whatever the tax rate is. There are so many ways, ranging from tax-free municipal bonds to simply sending your money to other countries, that it's very unlikely that the rich are going to be inconvenienced by raising the tax rates on them. Who will be hurt by it the most will undoubtedly be the people who are looking for jobs when the jobs have been driven out of the country to other countries to escape the high tax rates. And by high, I don't mean by historic standards. I mean high compared to what they are to other countries.
Thomas, thanks for being here. I hope you'll come back soon. Good talking with you. Thomas Sowell.